Okay, if you were absent last week, we started a project for our art fundraiser. Together we drew a raccoon step by step. So you will sit at the smartboard with your clipboard, a pencil, and an eraser nearby and follow the video step by step to create your raccoon to try to catch up while everyone else is painting. At the end, our raccoon will look similar to this one. Be a raccoon with a tree. To start your raccoon, we are going to start with the pupils, the dark part of its eyes. It's about the size of a dime. So you have to decide where on your paper you would like your raccoon's eyes to be. About the size of a dime, put 3 fingers down to leave space, and then another circle about the size of the dime. Next will be the larger circle that forms the outer part of his eye. They're a little bit bigger than a quarter. They don't need to be perfect. That will help give your raccoon character. You want to make sure that you leave space for a mask. Okay, the next step we're going to work on is going to be the top of his head. It's going to be a slightly curved line that starts just past one eye and ends just past the other. For raccoon ears, I decided to make mine rounded triangles. If you want your raccoon to have pointier ears, you can decide to do that. I'm going to start on one side and make a rounded triangle, and then back to the other side for a rounded triangle. You want to press lightly so you can erase your mistakes easily. I'm pressing pretty hard, so hopefully you can see the lines on the video. Then on the inside of the ears, a smaller triangle for the inside of his ears. And you can connect this one. Same thing on the other side. Smaller triangle, connected. Next, we're going to make the shape of his face. It's going to come down into a rounded, almost skinnier point where his nose is going to be. So you get to decide how long or short you want your raccoon's face to be. Curved lines from both sides down to a rounded point where his nose will be. I made my nose pretty round. You can decide if you would like yours to be a different shape. Next, he has 2 white areas on the side of his face. They're just curved lines. You can decide how large you want those to be too. They start at the nose, they curve out to the side of his face on both sides. Just curved lines or an arch. Now we'll work on the raccoon's mask. The important thing about the mask is to leave at least one space in between so you have area of gray for his face when we paint. So I'm going to curve around his eye. This mask can be any shape that you like. It's just going to curve back to the sides of his face. And then the same thing on the other side. Curve around his eye, leave space in the middle for the gray of his face, around his eye, and back to the side of his face. Next, we're going to add a tree. You can add your tree on the right or the left. It's up to you. I'm going to put a tree in the background on the left. I'm just going to draw a straight line up for the top of my tree. Now we'll go down here and start to work on his body. Your raccoon can be fluffy or skinny, it's up to you. I'm going to make this curved down. I'm going to stop so that I have room for a tail. My tail is going to start here and wrap around his body, so it's going to curve. You can decide how fluffy or puffy your tail is. I'm just going to curve all the way around to the other side. It's going to get a little skinnier as it comes up. You know, have his tail sticking up right beside his face. Curve back over and then back to where we started again. Yours can be as skinny or as fluffy as you would like. Okay, next I'm going to bring a curved line down for the other side of his body. You can drag your pencil without touching your paper across so you know where to start. And it's just going to be a curved line that connects to his tail. Pick up your pencil, drag it across, curved line that runs off. His body is large, it fills the page. Same thing at the bottom. You can bring your curved line down and bring it all the way to the bottom, or you can leave it and do part of your tree, which is what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna drag my pencil down. This is where my straight line for my tree is going to go. I need to add the stripes on his tail. I'm going just to do curved, slightly curved lines for stripes. If you want to do zigzags or a different pattern on your tail, that's up to you, artist's choice. It's also up to you how many stripes you put on your tail. And last, we're going to add texture to our tree. A texture is the way that something feels. Everything that you touch has texture. Artists have to create texture using lines and patterns. This is called implied or visual texture. I'm going to use a variety of different shaped lines, some curvy, some straight, some swirly, to imply or suggest the bark of the tree. You want to use a variety so that it's interesting to the viewer to look at. Fill up the whole space of the tree. Okay, now you will be able to take a black Sharpie and outline all of your lines. Sharpies can be found at the watermelon table. After everything is outlined, you will be able to start to paint with the rest of the class. Make sure your name and code. Five dash and then the first letter of your teacher's name. Your class code. Name and class code are on the back of your paper. After everything is outlined, find me, Mrs. Bell, and we will get you ready to paint.